everybody, welcome to Speak Votomi. Thank you so much for joining me. Today is YouTube Takeover Part 4. And before I get into what today's video is about, I just want to say thank you so much to all of those of you who watch my videos, who share them with people who need them, who've been liking, who've been commenting. It means a lot to me. If you have not subscribed just yet, it is never too late to do so. You can just click the button at the bottom of the screen. I'm not sure what side it's on, but that button, it says subscribe. And yes, definitely share this video as well with someone who might need it. Because as you know, Votomi means life. I spelled it with the O because I want it to be original, haha. It means life, and I just want us to learn from each other's life experiences and continue to speak the life that we want to see into existence. So I'm happy to say that there's going to be a couple on my show, and they are going to just be speaking about some of the things that they have learned in their relationship. We are definitely going to be speaking life and learning from whatever it is that they're going to say to us. So without further ado, Speak Votomi, let's go.
Hi guys, my name is Nkateko Mathebula and this is Mpume and Ntsako.
Hi everyone, so today we're going to be talking to you guys about things we wish we knew before we got married.
And when we say things we wish we knew before we got married, we're not necessarily talking about things that we wish we knew about each other before we got married. We're talking about things we wish we knew about marriage in general before we got married. Because if we start talking about things we wish we knew about each other, it could get awkward, people getting a bit defensive, so we're not gonna go there right now. Okay, I'll just let you start now.
I think things I wish we knew before we got married. You know, before we would pray together whilst we were dating, and we'd also pray on our own. But I think now, when we want to pray, when we want to read the Bible, and also looking at our spiritual growth, I didn't realize how much consultation we have to do with each other, making sure we agree. Do you understand where I'm coming from? Do I understand where he's coming from? What are we trying to achieve? So I think that was a big eye-opener for me.
Yeah, for me, one of the things I wish I knew was the importance of the first child. So with the first child, this is where you guys set up your traditions, your family culture, little habits, things that it's almost like you're creating the foundation for all the years to come. So if you get that wrong, then it's always a challenge to go back and say, let's change 1, 2, 3, because the defense would be, but this is how we've always done things. So I think it's a challenge, especially when you're newly married, that you need to sort everything out. Make sure that the culture, the tradition that you guys set is something that you want to go with for a lifetime.
I think another thing would be, money and finances. Whilst we were dating, we were very transparent with each other, but once we got married, I think for me, it was a big eye-opener, because I always thought it's 2 salaries, so that means that we'll be fine. We don't need to budget, we don't need to have conversations.
Yeah.
But in actual fact, you do. You need to make sure that you're aligned and you're united with the way in which you spend your money, and also how much you need to be transparent about everything when it comes to your finances.
Another thing for me is fighting is okay. So fighting doesn't mean that your marriage is falling apart. It's just an opportunity for both of you guys to vent out certain things that you don't like. It's an opportunity for you guys to sit down and discuss and build the way forward. It's better than sitting back and just bottling everything and hoping that things sort themselves out. I think when we're dating, I always tried to avoid having any fights. I felt as though I was protecting Mpume. I was treating her like this egg, and I didn't want anything. I wanted to have to experience anything negative, and I felt like I was also protecting myself from having awkward conversations with Mpume. But I think it's necessary, and I think you'll be better and stronger for it.
Yeah, I think it's the way also that you fight. And just to pick up on that, babes, like we went through tough times in our marriage, and for me, preparing for the wedding and the wedding day, you're so excited, you're so in love. I wasn't really thinking of the tough times. I thought, no, that'll be like maybe after 5, 10 years. But when you go through it, it doesn't mean that your marriage is over. It just means that we're going through a rough patch, but how do we come together to work through that rough patch?
Yeah. Another thing for me is, don't compare your marriage to other people's marriages. I always feel like we all go through different things at a different pace. So everything has its own time. Just because maybe you are successful in one area doesn't automatically mean that other people are doing something wrong in their marriage, or just because you feel like you're behind in a certain area, that you need to start now continuously comparing your marriage. Because as soon as you get to that point where you constantly comparing yourself to other people's relationship, then you lose focus on what you guys are trying to do, what you guys are trying to build. So I think that it's good to learn from other people, it's good to ask questions, it's good to ask for guidance, but don't make it your focal point almost to where it becomes almost obsessive, where you're constantly trying to chase what other people have created instead of creating your own thing.
Yeah, that's good, babes.
Yes, right.
I think another thing is that generally I set goals for myself and I'll give myself timelines to achieve them.
Yeah.
And when you get married, you have to understand that it can't just be about your goals and your dreams. You've got to work together as a team. So there needs to be unity in vision. And some seasons it might be that we're pushing something that was originally your goal, but it's for the best interest of our family. And in the next season we might push something that was originally for my goal, but it's for the best interest of our family. So I think that's also very important. And also just coping with like interruptions. We were only talking about having a child, and then we actually had our first child. So as much as you set goals and you want to achieve things, allow God to give you divine interventions as well.
Yeah, with kids, I wish I knew where kids come from. Yeah, but with kids, you have to know. It's just a reality of when you guys do have kids. It's time consuming.
Yeah.
It's time consuming. I feel like even when I come back from work, if babies are around and whatnot, I'm busy being a father. You can't do anything else, So it's those moments where she's asleep, then I get a chance to study, where we get to have quality time with one another. But as soon as the baby's awake, it's game over. You can't even watch a movie. You can't even watch a movie without pausing and asking, why is this happening? And so you just have to prepare yourself for how time consuming having kids is.
Yeah. I think also just on that love, I always looked at babies as such a beautiful thing, and I still do, until I went through the process and I realized it's such a big dynamic on your body, your emotions, and also on your marriage as well. So that was a big eye-opener.
I think finally for me, you can't change, you can't fix your spouse. All you can do is love them, because once you get into that mood where you're trying to change a person, you're gonna work for a lifetime. It's gonna. And another thing, when you're busy trying to change another person, you start ignoring your own flaws, your own faults. You feel like, okay, I'm good. This is the person that needs to change. And I feel like you need to continue. No, man, it's it's just a hand gesture.
Oh.
Yeah, but it's But once you get to that point, you ignore your own faults. So I feel like you should work on yourself. You should continuously work on yourself, developing yourself. And then I think you both, if one person is working on themselves, then it kind of encourages the other person to work on themselves, rather than you actively working on trying to change your spouse's behavior. It's gonna give you a headache. You're not gonna succeed.
And it's gonna cause fights.
Fights, like you say,
Yeah. I think the last one for me is, when we're preparing to get married, one of the advice that I received is, now that you've established a relationship with your friends, you need to sort of put that on hold and establish your friendship, your relationship with your husband. Okay. And I didn't really take it into mind because I thought, no, my friends are my friends, I'll be fine. Yeah. But when we went through our marriage, I realized actually that was true, because you then need to discern that friends are there for a season, a reason, and a lifetime. And you've got to discern, what kind of friend is this? Is this a lifetime friend? Is this a friend that's there for a season? And then how do you treat that friend? Because the reality is those friendships have an impact on your marriage. So you've got to make sure that you create that distance and you have those boundaries and you are very clear with yourself, your friends, and your spouse on those boundaries as well.
I guess that's it.
Yes.
We're closing with a kiss.